During the last tutorial we looked at creating the MySQL database and also going into File Manager so that we could set up the folders, unzip the zip file that we had for Easy Publish 3.4.0, and then changing that extracted folder into the name of Easy Site that we could then place inside the easypub.co.uk web space. So if I now come down into easypub.co.uk, I should be able to put in easy site / and it should go off and find the index.php file that is the first page of the Easy Publish installation. There we go. What we're going to look at in this tutorial is to actually fine tune some of those folders and files that we've got inside that Easy Site folder to make sure that everything in the installation runs smoothly and runs as optimally as possible. So I'll click on the fine tune button and we should get through to a page which is going to give us the system check of those folders that are inside the Easy Site folder. And we can see inside here there's various notes that we can read through. The main area that we're interested in is this box here. It's basically telling us there's several folders that need to have their permissions changed, their attributes changed on their read, write and execute commands, so that we're able to ensure that the installation process will actually read, write and execute those folders. So we can see here we've got settings, settings override, var storage, var cache, settings, site access admin and design. There are several different ways that we can actually change the read, write and execute attributes here. One of them is that we can use shell commands if we've got shell access in our web space. However, if you've got a shared hosting environment, chances are you might not have that. Luckily we can still use the control panel that we were looking and working with earlier on, and we can also use an FTP application. If we have a look at the control panel option first of all, and go over to control panel and then just click on File Manager, find the Easy Site folder, and inside the Easy Site folder we've got these various folders that we're asked to change the permissions on. So we've got the var, settings and design there. Click on var for instance, go to change permissions, and we'll see at the moment it's got the permission of 755. To change this we need to make it 777, so we can either come across here and actually put in 777, or if we just tick on all of the boxes, make sure all of these boxes are checked, they will also automatically change it to 777 as well. So then we click change and we'll see that the var folder will now change its permissions, its attributes. Go into the var folder and you can see that we've got cache and storage, and these are both 755 at the moment, which means that even though we've changed the folder above, the parent folder, it hasn't actually changed the attributes of these folders at all. And that's a bit of a problem when it comes to actually changing lots of folders and lots of files, as we need to do here. So what we can actually do is use an FTP application that has what we call a recursive chmod feature that will allow us to change one folder at the top of a tree, and all those subfolders beneath and the files beneath will also change so that they have the same permission. However, there aren't many FTP applications that actually allow you to do this. There aren't many that have that recursive chmod feature. But fortunately enough for us, there is one application that does that you can actually use on a free trial for 30 days, which is FlashFXP. And if we open up that app and make sure we're connected to the web space, we can see here we've got a similar sort of folder structure that we're looking at in the control panel. Again, we can go down and find our Easy Site folder. And this time if we come across and we actually change some of the properties, for instance on the var folder again, this will already have 777 because we changed it inside the control panel. However, it didn't change any of the folders beneath, so this time we're going to click or select the apply changes to all subfolders and files. Click OK and just let it work its magic for a few seconds. Then go into the var folder, and this time we can have a look at the chmod of the cache and the storage folders, and we can see that they're already 777, so it's been taken over for us. It's done all of those subfolders and subfiles and so on, which is a very convenient way of changing or chmodding the permissions and the attributes of our folders. We need to obviously go across and do this as well for settings, because that was one of the ones that was in the list. So the settings will now work. This will take quite a few seconds for it to change all the different files and folders. And then after this one we've also got to go and do design, and design's got lots of files and folders in it that will change and can take several minutes. So we'll leave that one to run after we've selected it. Just do design here, select it, and instead of just clicking those boxes again, I'll just type in here 777, and you'll notice all the boxes have now been checked. Check the apply changes to all subfolders, and then just leave it to run for a few minutes whilst it goes through and makes all those changes for us. Once FlashFXP has done its job and changed all those folders, we can then come back into the web browser and back to the system check page, and now we can go down to the very bottom and click this fine tune button, and this will just refresh this page and actually set it back up again. It will make all the checks that it needs to see if all of these settings have been changed, all of these different folders have been changed. and if they have, it'll then jump onto the next page and it'll ignore this requirement to address some of these issues and look at this system check. So we'll click fine tune and see how we get on. And there we go, it's taken us away from the system check page and it's now into the system fine tuning page. This is the last page that we need to look at for fine tuning our installation. And again, there's just a few notes that we can read through that will tell us what it's asking us to do. Essentially, it's just telling us that Easy Publish would like it if we could change the php.ini file so that we could turn off magic quotes and turn off register globals, and it will just increase the performance of Easy Publish when it's running later on. If you don't actually have access to the php.ini file, you can, however, create an htaccess file, which is a very simple process. You can use Notepad or you can use simple text if you're on a Mac to just create a basic file, save it as .htaccess, and make sure that these two lines have been pasted in, this one here and also this one here as well. That's all you need to do, is just paste in those two lines and then save it as .htaccess. We can also do a similar sort of thing using the control panel. So for instance, if I just grab hold of that first line and I'll just copy it with a Control C, go across to the control panel, click on File Manager, find the Easy Site folder again, and in the Easy Site folder I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it .htaccess and create that there. Click on it and edit it, and it will open up a very simple text editor, and I'll just paste in that line of text that I had before. Go back to the web browser and select the second line of text that we've got here, and again just copy that, and then go back to the control panel and paste that line in, and then save the result, and then we can close down this window. That's all we need to do. We've now created that htaccess file, we've made sure it's gone into the Easy Site folder, and we've just pasted in those two lines. We can now go down to the very bottom of the page and click on Fine Tune, and we know that everything's worked the way that it should because it's now jumped out of that last page and it's now gone on to outgoing emails. So we've actually finished all the fine tuning operations.